I suppose the most commonly held defensive is Telstra, or at least it's become a defensive with its yield. And I've got a graph here of the Telstra share price. The bottom was November 2010 for Telstra, and since then Telstra's price is up 47%, whereas the ASX 200 is down 13% just over that period. I mean, do you think that Telstra is one of the overpriced defensives that you're talking about?
It's in amongst those that has got a lot of support because of its very high yield. Now, there's a lot of debate as well as to whether it actually has a substantial amount of earnings per share growth, that it will generate if there is a more of a growth-orientated cycle. And there are some doubts about that because there's certain parts of their business, the fixed line, the census business, which are really not doing that well.
They sold out of New Zealand this week.
That's right, yeah.
John made a fair bit of money, quite a lot more money than they expected. And
exactly. Well, they sold for double what the market was valuing the company at. They say now they're going to have up to 3.7 billion in excess cash this financial year. They're starting to get all the NBN revenues, which is about another 20 billion courtesy of the Australian taxpayers. Probably, I think the biggest danger point about Telstra is that they might lash out and spend on something stupid, because their actual business, I think, is going really well and perfectly positioned right now. And I think it's probably justified the price now, but the uncertainty is what they do next. I think that's the big worry I'd have with Telstra.
Well, that's what they said. That's why they came out this week and said, we're not going to buy Channel 9.
Well, exactly.
I mean, everyone thought they'd buy Channel 9. They said no. What are the sort of things that the market's afraid that they'll buy? Like what?
Well, they've talked media, but they're talking buying little applications and things. Who knows? They've talked up Asia a lot, and remember last time they went into Asia, that ended in tears. I think we don't know. It's just David thought he's been very cautious, and we just hope he keeps that way, I guess.
I suppose
I don't think it'll change the trend of Telstra, because Telstra's not being priced on what it's doing. I mean, it did have a flip up as people thought about, a special dividend, which they've said won't happen until 2014, or a share buyback because they sold these assets.
They've got no franking benefits anyway
until 2014. But that's not the point. The Telstra share price, you could just as well do a chart of how much money is going into term deposits. You get exactly the same chart as Telstra. In other words, it's just being seen as a defensive stock. The biggest risk for Telstra is the market starts going up and everybody sells it. Whenever the market goes up, you'll see Telstra goes down. Everyone sells it to buy everything. And that's the biggest risk for the share price.
To buy growth stocks.
But of course, the growth story's gone.
Well, maybe at that point Telstra turns into a growth stock. I mean, that's
Oh, marvellous. Well, you're over it. Everyone's over glamorising and looking at Telstra's business. God, everyone's buying it for its yield. Let's not over complicate this. Well, and the moment they're not wanted for their yield, the share price is going to stop dead in its tracks. As it is 4-year high. Interestingly, BHP 4-year low, Newcrest 4-year low this week. So.